The Handmaid's Tale is finally back with Season 6 after over a 2-year wait. While a lot of shows aren't usually worth that long of a wait, after now seeing the first 3 episodes, this one most definitely was. Picking up directly where Season 5 finished, we saw Serena and June looking to head towards safety in Vancouver, but it all went wrong when Serena's true identity got revealed. Even though that was the case, what these first 3 episodes showed us is that the 2 different pillars of hope that both Serena and June stand for are going to go against each other again. Despite sharing a lot of similarities this time around, this shot summed it up perfectly, and their mirror journeys throughout the first 3 episodes reflected that too. With the foundations for this season now being laid down in the first batch of episodes, let's dive into them and break down all that there was to take away from it. Here is The Handmaid's Tale Season 6, Episodes 1 to 3, ending explained. Just to let you know, this video will contain spoilers. June and Serena's stories are the most connected that they've ever been. They were on the train together, they found safety at the same time, and they both departed that safe haven at the same time too, to become the pillars of hope and the figureheads of progression. A line that I thought was interesting, spoken to June, was when she was on the train and Serena said, "Soon, Gilead will be 1,000 miles away, and you can forget about it." Gilead was a traumatizing time for June, so it felt like a bit of a throwaway comment and highlighted the difference between Serena and June. But secondly, June doesn't want to forget about it, because Hannah is still there, and there are other handmaids suffering. Until she has Hannah back and the handmaids are free, she won't stop looking to bring the fight to Gilead's door, and that's exactly why we saw her going back. June actually made it to Alaska, where she was reunited with her mother. You could see that after all of that time without her, and after suffering all of the trauma that she's endured, the embrace of her mother and actually feeling like the child for the first time in a long while was exactly what she needed, rather than being the worried mother. Holly allowed June to feel free again and was able to support looking after her daughter for the 2 months that she was there. But as we saw with Luke and Moira volunteering to be part of Mayday and wanting to retrieve the names of the commanders that were responsible for shooting down the plane when they were going to get Hannah, they found themselves trapped in no man's land, where the park that they were in was now under patrol. This led June to leave Alaska because she wanted to rescue Luke. Nick had actually been working with Mark undercover, but after a conversation with Commander Wharton around making good decisions and them impacting his family, he decided to destroy the SIM card in the phone that Mark gave him. But with June being used as leverage, that was the thing that got Nick back on the side of the Americans. Nick and June have this deep-rooted connection, and June has forever been conflicted between Luke and Nick. Seeing them together again, I don't know, I just feel like she's got better chemistry with him compared to Luke. Her only justification to Nick about picking Luke was the fact that Luke waited for her. She even said in this episode that she still loved Nick, so I think that triangle is something that's going to be present for the entirety of this final season. With both Luke and Moira being saved, we saw that Nick fully cemented himself on the side of the Americans because he shot the 2 patrollers that spotted them. So I feel like that was him picking his side and standing by it. He's most likely going to be working undercover again and trying to escape the watchful eye of his father-in-law. Nick does have a child on the way with Rose, and it seems like that life is something that he's actually prepared to destroy. He doesn't even view it as a life, so it'll be interesting to see what happens with him. I imagine June is going to stay with Luke and Moira for the time being because they're doing their bit to try and rescue Hannah, and she's going to want to participate in that. Judging by the way that Luke was obsessing over the names in the gift shop, I think he's almost going to get fixated on killing the commanders, and he might stop using logic when approaching it, which could be dangerous. So it'll be interesting to see what June thinks of that. June is the image of freedom and fight, and it's the opposite of what Serena is. Serena's the vision of progression within Gilead, hence why we saw so many of their shots accompanying each other. Because even though they are so similar and formed a close connection with June, even saving Serena in the first episode, it actually feels like they're going to end up on the complete opposite sides of the battlefield again. Serena's journey over the course of the first 3 episodes was one which showed us that she's on a pathway of returning to how she was before she left. Yes, New Bethlehem is seen as a softer and kinder version of the Gilead that she left. However, with her being the global ambassador and returning there because she felt as though God was calling her after Lawrence approached her, it feels like it's got all the makings of a disaster. Serena was on the cusp of being killed, or at least severely harmed, on the train in the first episode. But we saw that June saved her, and then from there, she was in Canaan, living under the identity of somebody called Rachel. However, after Lawrence mentioned that she was wanted in New Bethlehem, so she could be the vision of progression, plus the fact that the Wheelers would know where she was if she didn't go there, that made up her mind and caused her to go to this newfound version of Gilead. What happened while she was there, though, was that while all of the foreign dignitaries were there to assess if it was safe for them to send the refugees back, she gave a great pitch on how New Bethlehem was the future and that it was actually prospering and thriving more than other developing countries around the world, especially when it came to birth rates. The motto of "we broke this country, now we have to fix it" is something that I think she does genuinely believe and will want to do, but I think she's going to be clouded by those around her. The likes of Commander Wharton were somebody that it seemed like she was getting close to, and I think that the both of them are going to have some kind of romantic connection over the course of this season, something that will most likely cause her to have an ascending rise to power. The way that the foreign dignitaries responded to Serena is telling of how many of the other people will. And I think we'll see her losing what humanity she has. And her obsession with being selected by God is what will drive her mindset and cloud her more humane, empathetic judgment that we've seen her have with Lawrence being a figurehead of the New Bethlehem development. If Serena starts getting close with the likes of Commander Wharton, I think we could end up seeing Lawrence being overlooked and him regretting bringing Serena to the development that he created. Aunt Lydia is a character that didn't get that much focus over the first 3 episodes, but what we did see was that Janine had been taken and was now working in some kind of brothel-type place. Aunt Lydia was shocked at this because after Janine refused to apologize to Naomi in Season 5, she didn't realize that she'd be sent to spend the rest of her days working there, along with many of the other girls that Aunt Lydia had worked with over the years. We've come to see Lydia care for Janine in a way that we've not seen her connect with any of the other girls in the show, and with Naomi and Lawrence not permitting her to return, I feel we're going to see Lydia looking to fight to get Janine out of there, because I believe she does now truly want the best for her. The Handmaid's Tale Season 6 Episode 1, Episode 2, and Episode 3 review. My review of the first 3 episodes. I thought the first 3 episodes were a great reintroduction back into the show. Having the story start immediately where it finished, with the cliffhanger of Serena and June being on the train, was a great place for it to start. I thought they'd get to where they needed to go to, and we'd see them working together, but it seems like it's actually going to be the opposite, and I kind of like that because it's unexpected. Nick is a character that I continue to like in the show, and I can completely understand the conflict that he has. He's conflicted because he's scared of what could happen if it gets out that he's working with Mark. So having his character destroy the phone made complete sense. His love for June is something that's also so clear to see, and it just makes the love triangle even more interesting to follow. In terms of the performances, the cast did a great job. June and Serena's interactions with each other on the train felt so real and pure, and they were some of my favorite moments of the first 3 episodes. I also thought Serena was performed really well too. Her character changed the most over these first 3 episodes, and she was completely different at the end compared to how she was at the start, so it was impressive to see. I'd also say there were so many nice shots in this episode. The camera movements on some of them were just so smooth and creative, and it added to the immersive nature of the show. I genuinely think this season of the show has the potential to be the best. There's so much at stake, and with it being the final season, I feel we're going to see the battles that we've long been waiting for, and hopefully the reunion of June, Luke, and Hannah. Until then, we've got 7 more episodes to go. So there you have it, The Handmaid's Tale Season 6, Episodes 1 to 3, ending explained. If you want to see more breakdowns on The Handmaid's Tale, then click on the card in the top corner, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss future videos. What did you think of the first 3 episodes? Share your thoughts in the comments. As always, thanks for tuning into the video, and I'll see you in the next one.